Hello, and welcome back to TTP Field Manual Podcast. I'm Joshy. I've got Johnny here with me. Hello, friend. How's life?
Oh, hiyo.
Hiya.
Life is stressful, but we're getting there.
Uh-oh. Is it because you're stuck in the Eye of Terror?
No, it's because we're no longer stuck in the Eye of Terror.
Oh, no. That's right. You're a filthy Iron Warrior fiend who loves being in the Eye of Terror.
Oh, yeah. No, we're here for terror.
Coming for terror.
Exactly.
Through the Infinite Citadel. One brick at a time.
From one terror to the other.
I think all the Iron Warriors are marching across the galaxy doing the Pink Floyd, another brick in the wall.
No. They're too straight-lined to even think music is something they care about.
They just hear someone singing and think, yuck, what is that Emperor's Children nonsense?
Everything's just EDM.
What would each of the Chaos Legions listen to in their downtime?
Well, we just said what Iron Warriors would be listening to. It's all just machine music, right?
But it's not like, it's not EDM as you know it. It'll be that mathcore or something, which everything's like super technical.
Yeah, for sure.
Or IBM, Industrial Beat Machine. Black Legion would just be classic metalcore, I feel. Or
Dad rock.
even deathcore.
Dad rock.
Right. Emperor's Children would be either the most insane black metal or Def Leppard.
Or both.
Or both at the same time.
It'd be like some weird electrocore mix, I reckon.
Death Guard is listening to whatever your older stoner brother was listening to in his garage.
In the 80s.
In the 80s. World Eaters, it's probably K-pop.
Honest.
Somehow it makes sense.
Honest.
It somehow makes sense. Thousand Suns, what are they going to listen to?
Oh, they're probably just listening to classical music, let's be real.
True. Just some Vivaldi while they channel the warp.
And it's just playing in the background while they do their hymnals.
They're just playing Vivaldi's Winter while they invade the Space Force for the fourth time.
Yeah.
Who are we missing? Alpha Legion. What are they listening to?
Oh, they listen to a bit of everything, you know? They're that person who says that they like all kinds of music until you play the music they don't like.
Whenever someone says, yeah, I listen to all music, it's always all music but country hick, or it's all music but heavy metal.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Night Lords are just listening to the most vulgar death metal you've ever heard in your life.
They're just listening to DSBM.
Insane.
Do you know DSBM?
Not a chance.
It's technically depressed and suicidal black metal, except they're doing it for your benefit, not for theirs.
Yeah, seems legit.
Speaking of Night Lords, there's a very, very fun lore excerpt in today's episode.
Oh.
All about exactly the thing I just said.
They make an appearance, do they?
Apparently. Hey, I wonder what we're talking about today, Johnny.
It might be the Pink Pony Club.
Yeah, we're actually doing a pony episode.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all the horses of 40k.
How does Rainbow Sparkle navigate the warp?
In a terrifying manner.
Through rainbows and love and friendship. We're off to a great start. This is the Eye of Terror, Reign of Iron lore episode. If you hadn't figured it out by probably the title, this is the third supplement for the end of edition slew of releases that Warhammer 40k is experiencing. The first was 500 Worlds, the second was Maelstrom, one was focused on Captain Titus fighting one Soul Necron fellow, the other one was a bit of a travel brochure for the worst place you can imagine, and now we're going to the second worst place you can imagine, which is the Eye of Terror. Thoughts? You want to go there? No. Wait, yes, you said you did.
It's a nice place. Let's do it.
It's a nice place. Now it's even bigger. It's like climate change, but on a galactic level.
Ugh.
So I really like the Eye of Terror little booklet, actually. Some of it, I will say, is recapping what most people already know. Like there's a few spreads on exactly how Cadia fell and the play-by-play of all that. Spoilers, Abaddon dropped a fortress of Blackstone upon the world when he was starting to not win. And he had a hissy fit. He's like, well, if I can't have it, no one can have it.
Yeah, it seems very Abaddon.
That's basically Cadia in a nutshell. You know, so many of these battles would just be over if one of the generals decided to drop their orbital fortress onto the planet and call it a day.
Yeah, but then there's no planet to fight over. Where how are they going to release more models if they blow up all the planet?
In one of our recent episodes, you were saying something to the effect of, I don't love how it's not really moving forward.
Yeah.
Opening theaters of war, but it's not closing any either.
And there's no reason you can't close and reopen. Like, I don't mind there being 4 wars for Armageddon, but the 4th war of Armageddon lasting as long as Warhammer has actually been a game is a problem.
Well, the 4th is about to occur. Don't worry. We've only experienced
3 so far.
3 in the game, and the first one was like before time. I have got my hands on the 4th and final lore book, The Yarrick Returns, and I went looking at...
That's how late we are to the party.
Whoops. I looked at the appendice, which has the Wars of Armageddon, because it's a whole appendice for that.
Nice.
And the 10th edition Crusade Suppy, where Angron and the World Eaters go to town on Armageddon, is like a footnote. It's a column to the side of the page.
That's crazy.
It's basically an intermission war, which sounds crazy to have Angron show up as an intermission conflict. It's like, hold up, the orcs are respawning. Give them a moment. Hold up. There be demons.
There always be demons.
So yeah, Eye of Terror, I do like it. It returns to the Cadian Gate. That's its main function. It sprinkles a little bit of attention to the Chaos Legions, but more or less just the Iron Warriors. It has a couple of really fun excerpts on their basically home world of operations, Medrengard. There's actually a bifold spread on Perturabo himself and what's going on with him. He's not just a footnote. He's got a whole thing.
He's not just a pretty face.
Kravek Morne and a couple of other new characters are here, although it'll become quite obvious that Kravek Morne may as well be John Iron Warrior.
He's not an interesting character.
I mean, he's interesting in that he is the most perfect example of an Iron Warrior character.
Oh, he's got that deeply ingrained autism.
Yeah, more or less. There's a little bit of information about the units that recently got either resculpted or made into the game. So Defilers, the Night Destroyer, Hastari, the Admic. We have a little bit of lore for Thulia Ghuld, couple of Night House lore, and then there are several conflicts that push the Cadian Gate Theatre of War forward. Can you believe it?
Yay! We're moving on.
And Space Marines show up that aren't Ultramarines. Nice. But overall, I think there's not as much information in this particular book compared to others in the sense of relaying to you, the listeners. A lot of, at least the first third, is covering bits and bobs that could be their own episodes, like the Fall of Cadia, and just who the various traitor legions are. But nonetheless, there are some things to talk about. Still, this is actually yours, Johnny. Have you actually read through any of this before you bestowed it to Story Master Josh?
No, I haven't. I'm a terrible person, I know.
Oh, well, this will be a happy little listening experience for you then, won't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Brilliant. What are you hoping is in this book? What are you hoping to hear about?
Hoping to hear about our Lord and Savior Perturabo, which you've already told me he gets a full spread, so I'm pretty keen. I want to see what they're planning. Like, what is the goal here for the Iron Warriors? What have they been up to?
I will say that this book made me really excited. I really enjoyed the sort of campaign play-by-play at the end of what's actually going on with this theater of war. I thought it's really neat. And Perturabo himself, reading what his plans are, made me audibly go, oh, that's fucking cool. It actually feels like a cool thing rather than, the lion's back. It actually feels cool.
Well, let's get into it, eh?
So how this is going to go is basically me going bit by bit through the actual lore supplement as it has been laid out. So there will be timestamps, of course, in either the bio or depending on your platform. It will be chapters that you can navigate through. So if there's something that you see you want to just jump to, you can, but don't you dare at the same time, you know what I mean?
Sit back and enjoy the listen.
Yeah. If you're worried about spoilers, this might not be the one for you, but honestly, this lore book is the only place that's treading new stuff. And if you haven't got your like copy of it, it might be getting quite hard to do so, actually. That's something to notice, that these supplement boxes aren't going to come back around. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, they're not being printed heavily either. Like once they're done, they're kind of done. It's one print run.
No.
Very similar to what they did with like Arcs of Omen. And good luck finding any of these supplemental rules online, because the online world doesn't like to give you anything that isn't competitive.
Brother. Yeah, right? That's something I noticed. I was trying to read through the Maelstrom's rules stuff again to refresh myself after I had returned that copy to our friend who lent it to us. And it was just hard.
Just hard.
I had to watch a YouTube like page flip anyway. So sit back, relax. Oh, and that, I've been procrastinating for a couple of minutes here, trying to remember what it was I wanted to say. The Discord, Johnny.
What's that?
It's a good question. Moving on. Tell us about the things, Johnny. Give the spiel, please.
Our community is slowly growing, but it could be faster. So come say hi.
It could.
Come click the links. Come do the things. The more that people start to get in there and engage, the more we can potentially engage back, create discussions, get ideas for episodes. We want to see all your fancy stuff, especially at a time when we haven't been doing as much hobbying. So please come and do some hobbying. I need some inspo.
He really does, ladies and gentlemen. And I would say me too. But I spend a lot of my time reading the hobby and editing this, and also assembling too many models to paint. So we're okay on my front. Johnny needs some encouragement. Pop in and say, Johnny, it's okay. You can paint your Iron Warriors army. We want to see all the tanks. Johnny, it's okay. You can start your 3 Baneblades army. It's all right.
I can't do the 3 Baneblades army for one reason.
Storage.
The Catachan Jungle Fighters models are trash.
Yeah.
But they're the best melee I could find.
They are. All right. So, Eye of Terror. What it is and what it do. The Eye of Terror is the biggest little scar upon reality. Imagine big galaxy map and then draw a big eyeball. There you go. That's the Eye of Terror.
A big old squinty eye.
There's a big squinty eye, a festering wound that cleaves logic and reality apart, opening a warp rift, or rift into the warp. When the Eye of Terror began was actually in the 30k-ish time, just before the heresy. Oh no, 25k, give or take. When the Eldari did the whole hedonism, birth god thing.
Created a death god.
Quite literally evil god. Evil god had big birth cry, which was the Eye of Terror.
Hey now, she's not evil. She's just addicted. I can fix her.
She's one of the more evil things I could think about with this setting, John.
I can fix her.
All right. She'll fix you in many ways that you might not even enjoy.
Yeah, she will.
So Slaanesh was born at the heart of the Eldari society. They got all gobbled in the billions, if not trillions. This cascaded a reality-damning effect across the whole galaxy. The pretty overpowered humanity at the time, doing some crazy high-powered technology, all of a sudden cut off. There was no real communication. Humanity was thrust into barbaric dark ages where planets were isolated from one another. Demon incursions were going on. Wasn't a great time. Fast forward a few thousand years of that, the Emperor, old fake space Jesus himself, rises from the ashes of what would be Earth, now Terra, unifies a bunch of folks, convinces a bunch of scientists to help him make space marines, and reconquer the stars. Some of these civilizations did fairly well. Some of those civilizations got squashed throughout the Great Crusade. Others just didn't quite make it, unfortunately. The Eye of Terror was always there, though, always just sort of having a little pokey watch over the galaxy. And there would be one primarch in particular, Johnny, who was cursed by its existence. whenever they looked to the heavens, they would see it like a strange Snapchat filter. Any ideas who?
It might be. We read a book that mentioned this, so it's fine. There's no spoilers. Just listen to the book clubs. It's our autistic prince himself.
Gilliman.
No, I mean...
No.
I mean...
Dawn.
It would appear that autism is rife within the Empire.
Nay, it was our good friend Peter Turbo. But after the whole Horus Heresy thing kind of backfired on the traitors, they needed to flee. There was a bit of a window of time post-Siege of Terra called the Scouring, where all the Imperium forces pursued the traitors across the stars. A lot of the traitor forces decided they won't follow us in there, and basically points to the mouth of hell, the Eye of Terror. And off they went. In they go.
Where are we going to hide? The worst place possible.
The worst possible place. We're going to open our souls to like the worst forces imaginable. Not that the warp isn't necessarily bad, but after thousands of years of bad things, it's become kind of bad. You get me? Yeah.
The warp in and of itself is not inherently evil. The problem is...
emotional resonance of a bunch of evil people.
Yeah, the problem is it adapts to the emotions that are given off by the soul, and the souls have a direct connection to the warp, and therefore, if people are being mean, the energies of the warp become mean. If everyone just made peace and got along...
I'm going to blame the Catan.
The warp would no longer be a scary place, but unfortunately... there is only war, and that is why everything is war.
Yeah, I'm going to blame the Catan for that one.
I mean, he say, who say, everyone's blaming someone else, but...
He say, who say, Abaddon say, Black Crusades, hey.
But hey, if the Star God frog people just gave the weird cancer-ridden...
the Slan.
Race what they wanted, they wouldn't have gone to war.
Ah, so the evil star gods were evil. Gotcha.
But they didn't have to be evil. If they weren't evil, we wouldn't have the warp being a bad place. All their fault.
True. Speaking of evil, though, Abaddon's here.
Abby, of course.
Abby is basically made an art form of the Eye of Terror being his sort of base of operations, but not like just his. The Eye of Terror is, if you imagine a sort of nebula full of planets and spaces where worlds and warships and battle stations exist within, away from reality as we know it. Yeah, Eye of Terror, it's big chaos home, but it's not just one or two worlds. It's not just this endless plane of nothing. There are full-on demon worlds and worlds created by the primarchs or were gifted to them by the chaos gods. It may as well be its own miniature galaxy in there. And from there, all of Abaddon's Black Crusades spew forth. For the longest time, they were just footnotes in lore books. Abaddon would go out and do this. He would go out and do that. He would be repulsed at this place. He would pick up a sword at that place. Minor things. Until they decided that number 13 would be the big one, and Cadia would fall. This was really bad.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So, turns out that what made Cadia so potent was that Cadia and a few of the nearby planets were outside of the Eye of Terror, forming the Cadian Gate. They would be fortified up the wazoo into this eternal military installation, with Cadia itself being essentially a maze of fortifications and turrets and barracks and trading halls, all with the express purpose of stopping chaos from leaving the Eye of Terror en masse. And for the most part, worked pretty well. There have, of course, be other worlds that would rise and fall throughout the wars, but Cadia was numero uno, something. Cadia would fall, but Cadia being the sort of linchpin of the Cadian Gate was really bad because the world was full of Noctilith, Johnny. You know Noctilith.
I do know Noctilith.
The presence of old Void Dragon, the ability of the Necron technologies to coerce the warp into being on or off. Cadia was essentially containing the Eye of Terror from expanding out more. Now it's gone. Well, shattered is the more apropos term, but nonetheless, Eye of Terror all of a sudden stretched its big legs and then decided to stretch the entire length of the galaxy somehow into the Great Scar or the Cicatrix Maledictum if you speak High Gothic. Do you know what the orcs call the Great Rift?
The big crumpin place.
I'm not sure if it's Gork or Mork, but they call it Gork's Grin or Mork's Grin. One of the gods is Grin.
Yeah, big crumpin place. I was pretty close.
Big crumpin place. Not that we're going to get too into it, but little spoilers for next time. Old Wazdaka Gutsmek,
Yeah.
the orc, it's his dream to bike across the whole galaxy, but every time he tries to go through the warp, the Great Rift spits him back out.
That's a bit weird.
He's just like, I'm going to race the galaxy. And then the warp's like, nope. And just sends him back. Oh, more on him later. So the Cadian Gate, several systems of worlds that sort of fall into, like, you could imagine a canyon, right? At one end of the canyon is the Eye of Terror. At the other end of the canyon is the Imperium as a whole. On either side, nowadays, warp energies. So essentially, a lot of these systems are stuck in this valley of calm, surrounded by 3 out of 4 sides of just the worst proximity to chaos-filled warp that you could imagine. And that's where we find ourselves for the rest of today's episode.
Nice. Where I like to be.
I bet you do. There are 6 major systems, but they arrange these on a bifold spread and don't touch upon it too much more, except for when the worlds are specifically mentioned in the lore, but it's not too important. It's not like Zvildwire Crevasse and things like that, Morn Hollow. It's not quite as in-depth as the Maelstrom had. But nonetheless, we have, looked at that, the Cadian system, Johnny. So there is the Cadian system, which is the closest one. Status. Overrun by Black Legion.
Oh, okay.
Overrun by Black Legion. The whole Cadian system is not doing well. Cadia, it's now a demon world. It has been shattered apart, and all the various chunks are held together by warp energies or demonic tendrils, or is just floating oddly in a vague orbit around the core. Poor guys.
Yeah, right.
The star of the system is considered now sentient. The star is freaking alive.
That's terrifying.
With warp energy. It's not good. Every other world is either mutated or ruined or scoured. There's one world that's known as Kaza Sonnen, which Kaza is a Cadian word meaning castle. So Kazakin are castlekin.
They're castle brothers.
They're castle crashers.
Oh no.
Oh no. Kill Team Castle Crashers.
Crossover event.
Yeah.
Wait till we get Warhammer skins.
Warhammer Skulls, Castle Crashers skins. Casa Sonum, it's a warp-saturated Cadian holdout. There's the world of Macaria, which I imagine is in tribute to Lord Solar Macarius, a once upon a time Crusade general. That's a mutated world and is now a Cadian holdout. There are 2 worlds that have melded together as 2 halves of one demon world. So that's fun. And there's another world, Vigilatum, that's out of phase. It's not quite in reality anymore. It's a little bit out of there. So that's a good chunk of Cadian, of the Cadian system. No thank you. Don't want to be there.
Yeah, sounds terrible.
Also on the outskirts, and the other one that's most affected is the Bellus Corona system. Status, besieged, Iron Warriors. Oh, spoilers.
Oh no, we're everywhere.
Oh no. So the Bellus Corona system, this is an interesting system that I want to hear more about, and not just because their asteroid belt is full of radioactive meteors, known as the Corwin Belt. Of the worlds we have Bellus Corona itself, which is an Imperial naval base. I wonder where the Void Siege of the Iron Warriors is being staged. There is a world known as Laurentix, which is an Iron Warriors stronghold planet now. They took it over.
Nice.
There's Airsten Prime, which is yet another Iron Warrior stronghold. We don't really get much about this one, unfortunately. There's Malussoir, which is considered an omen world. Don't know what that means exactly, but if I had to guess, I imagine it's a lot of cults and sacrifices because it's Wordbearer's planet, baby.
Sounds like a bad place to be.
Yeah, on the other side of the system, we have Bellissima, a pleasure world, which is usually where the nobility of the Imperium go to enjoy fine food and drink and other pleasures. The Emperor's children have it now.
It's very nice there. It's Bellissima.
There you go. I was waiting for it. Yeah, the Emperor's children have it now.
Nice. So now it's not so pleasurable for you.
No, not for you. Closing in towards the star, though, there's Geldaris, which is now a Death Guard staging world.
Just one for each of them, right? Then there's Armageddon, the World Eater's world.
Yeah, sure. Totally here. There's a fun lore passage later in the book which says that there's basically a warsmith whose whole job it is at Bellis Corona to keep tabs on all the other Chaos Legions because they can't trust them.
Yeah, seems legit. Nobody trusts anyone around here.
Yeah, it does. That's true. There are 4 other systems in the place. Oh, would you look at that? Agripinaa. The Forge world, Agripinaa.
Nice.
This is where all the AdMech side of things comes into play. Agripinaa was essentially the arms dealer for the entire Cadian Gate. They made all the weapons. They did all the things.
For both sides.
Sure. Agripinaa has sort of become the next Imperial bastion after the fall of Cadia, except the Agripinaa system is interesting because to keep up with the demand of forging for the entire Cadian Gate, yeah, the whole system is messed up. There are worlds whose entire purpose is used for just mining. The whole world has been mined. One of the planets has been mined down to the core.
Doesn't seem good for the health of the planet.
No. So the actual orbit of the planet has become critical in flux because the mass has shifted so dramatically that the planet, whatever's left of it, can't really have a stable orbit anymore. They've mined so much of it.
Oh no, this planet is fucked.
There's one planet that's so close to the star that the AdMech actually stage vapor farms in orbit to basically siphon plasma energy from the atmosphere as it's being blasted by the sun. Holy. There's a world, the whole world, John, is just for testing weapons. So there's just radioactive clouds from bomb fallout and stuff. There's another world where they just dispose of all the ammunition and prototypes from the weapon testing world. So they have a weapon testing world and they have a world that's just their dump.
Nice.
So already we've got three worlds at least explain in detail how they've just been ruined just for the sake of industry. Worlds.
Yeah, whole planets.
Say what you will about what we're doing to our planet. There you go, John. But the AdMech are on another scale. Oh, would you look at that? There's an actual hive world in this system, Johnny. Population critical. Why might a hive world
Hold on.
be critical of its population?
Critically large or critically small?
A key distinction. Critically low.
So it's not a hive world, it's just a backwater slum planet.
No, it is. It's a hive world. But the AdMech are using legal loopholes to extort the planet for conscripts.
Everyone has to do their time.
Everyone, except when an AdMech says you're conscripted to be a servitor or a scutari or a labor menial that will eventually have their body give up on them and no more for you.
Oh, well, that's right.
So the world of Narcine is a hive world that is basically so underpopulated that the hive worlds may as well not be bothered with being populated because the infrastructure cannot really be maintained. Since the fall of Cadia, Agripinaa needs to do a bit more. And they're not going to just... The AdMech aren't having babies, are you kidding? That's icky and fleshy.
I was going to say, don't they just give birth to robots?
True that. But yeah, that's the Agripinaa system. And the other three, because I did mention six, we have Gudrun, Kinchair, and Thracian Primaris, which are near and dear to my heart, because those are the three systems that the Eisenhorn novels take place in.
Okay.
So this whole sector is like the Eisenhorn saga, except Eisenhorn saga takes place like 700 or 800 years before where we are at this stage in the setting. So no dramas. But it makes me feel sad for all of his efforts, old Greg, considering now basically each of these systems, when Cadia fell, basically all the various governors and such across these systems basically had to go into their, in case of emergency, break glass box. And in each of them, it was basically like, you're the new Cadia. Build up now. Like, you have to reinforce now. They will be coming. And so these three systems basically did an arms race to build up their entire systems to at least match to some extent the capacity that Cadia had for pushing back the tide.
One day they'll get there.
One day they'll get there. Gudrun is probably the most further along, considering they are, in a sense, referred to as a Neo-Cadian system now. All the Cadian influencers are now given this label of Neo-Cadia. They couldn't just let them rest, could they?
No, never.
Never. So, yeah, Gudrun has a few worlds in their system, primarily recruiting, weapons testing. There's, of course, a death world if you want to have some fun. There's, weirdly enough, though, if you looked at a map of Gudrun, there's a large chunky chrono anomaly right next to the planet. So time is effy weffy, and I can't help but blame Greg for that one.
Can't help but blame Greg.
I just have a sneaking suspicion. But yeah, the other two, Kinchair, it's doing its best, but it's like super tainted by the war. There's so many cults that have risen up, and it's sort of the playing field of both the Alpha Legion and the Night Lords, with the Alpha Legion basically having a side quest to take over this whole system for themselves, not because they need to, but because it would be kind of fun.
I didn't realize the Alpha Legion were that, like, fun-inspired.
I mean, I'm sure it's going to help them out in the long term. There is a lot of references throughout this book that the Alpha Legion are like super in cahoots with the Iron Warriors. They've basically been listed as spies en masse for the Iron Warriors. Like, those two are buddying up. And I can't help but love that, John.
It's just like us.
It's just like us. It's just like you and me. And then the Word Bearers are basically like a client faction of the Iron Warriors, where they don't hate each other at all, except the Iron Warriors don't really care about the gods, but the Word Bearers need the Iron Warriors to build them demon engines, which then the Iron Warriors are like, well, they are pretty good weapons, so I guess
I mean,
I'll make them for you if we get to keep some. And the Word Bearers are like, oh, yes, please.
yes, give me.
Yes, please. And then, where was the other one that we didn't touch upon? Thracian Primaris, which I think is where Greg actually was born. Greg Eisenhorn, everybody. It is got a lot of planets, lots of fortified worlds, except can't help but feel like Thracian Primaris is teetering on the edge, because Thracian Primaris has a world next to it called Durst Reach, which is a recruiting world. On the other side of them is Elnor Delta, which has confirmed Night Lord sightings. On the other side of Thracian Primaris, you have Angelisar, which is confirmed Death Guard sightings. And then in the far reaches of the system, close to the warp Mandeville where they teleport in and out, the Black Legion and the Alpha Legion are having a civil war over a particular world.
And which world is this?
I'm umming because it's definitely not spelt like how I'm going to pronounce it, but my brain calls it is called Bayabus.
Bayabus.
Buyabos.
Okay.
Bayabus. So the Alpha Legion and the Black Legion are at the car yards punching each other out trying to buy a bus. I don't know. But yeah, that is honestly the entirety of the Cadian Gate. I did my best to extrapolate about 4 pages of lore there for you.
Nice. Into Bayabus.
Nice. I want to go to buy a bus, see if there's any good deals.
No. They didn't say they're on special. They just said you could buy them.
No test driving either. I swear it works. So the next few pages is basically like if you didn't really know much about the traitor legions, they're basically like, yeah, they fled, and then Night Lord's like torturing, and the Death Guard like to poison things, and the Thousand Sons have plagues of magic to that kind of stuff. There's a few fun little excerpts that read like video game logs and journals, all from the positions of various chaos folks, except none of them are actually people you'd recognize, unfortunately. It'd be fun to see like a Typhus or a Khan, but no. There is one Emperor's Children excerpt, though, where the guy whose name is Mordrak, the Castellan of the Castle Sublime, is basically gooning to the fact that they just had abducted a bunch of Ulthwé Eldari, peeled their skins, and drunk in their screams, and by inhaling their suffering, they figured out in a fever dream where exactly Ulthwé is. They want to go get it.
Damn.
That's not good. But then it does take us in a page-by-page brief of several bases of the factions of the chaos. But checking in with you, how do you like the setup? Did you enjoy the tour through the Cadian Gate?
Yeah, it was nice. It was good fun. A lot of good to see that everyone's here,
Well, everyone is here. Are you ready to hear about some bastions of the non-cult factions?
Sure.
So
some of the guys no one talks about.
You've heard of right. You've heard of Sicarus before, right?
Oh, the name is familiar.
It's the word bearer's big base of operations inside the Eye. It is where Lorgar spends all of his time moping.
It's this guy.
So Sicarus is as word bearers as they come. It is a whole planet that's basically designed around just insanely large yet simultaneously hideous basilicas and temples and bastions in favor to the dark gods. Each of these things are trying their best to be the biggest and most evil, with sacrifices just smushed onto all the temple spires so that their screams permeate the planet.
Of course.
There are types of demons that they call Cathartes, which are basically humans, but with wings and no skin. And they prowl the world just to steal away the people who aren't quite aware of them being there, and then just devour them for all that they are. Why not? Why not have a natural predator, which is basically the creepy thing in the mirror?
Of course. Why not?
Why not? We do have a little bit of a description of the Templum Inficio, which is Lorgar's little temple. Lorgar is basically having a locked-in few millennia. He just stays there. It is a temple rising from a desert of bone and ash, like an oasis, amongst all of this endless depraved temples and sacrifices and stuff. Supposedly, the Dark Apostles of the Word Bearers sacrificed the 8 million adepts that were used to build this temple, and then used all the blood and entrails of the 8 million sacrifices to basically consecrate the place and have a nice little moat of blood and whatnot.
That's crazy. Geez, the word bearers do some really over-the-top stuff. Religious people are wild.
It's insane. And they also give mention to a part of the planet called the Corpse Plains.
Oh, God.
So this is where they don't actually build anything. The word bearers actually have some weird respect for their fallen leadership, where they inter them into the Corpse Plains so that they could, in theory, basically get raised up by the dark gods into demonhood in death.
Because that's like the ultimate sign of their devotion, right? Like, that's like going to heaven for them, becoming a demon.
Yeah, but if you betray the Dark Council, which is all the senior leadership which operate the Legion in Lorgar's absence because he just can't be bothered. He's too busy reading.
He's too busy trapped in a tower being haunted by a crow.
There's a demon bird outside the window going, "Fuck you! Lorgar! I will never be revealed as the next primarch because I look too weird to be an Imperial model," says Corvus Corax the demon bird.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
Yeah, so it's said that if you betray the Dark Council and you're considered a bad boy and you need to be punished, you are blinded, removed of your armor, and exiled to walk the corpse plains alone forever. Some walk centuries, lost and denied the mercy of death. Their minds are broken, as the corpse plains are also known for the constant howling of screams of anguish.
Yeah, this all checks out.
The various dark apostles that have been buried in the corpse plains supposedly have their consciousness linger and maliciously whisper at the traitors as they're walking about. And oh yeah, how could I forget? This is where the Cathartes live.
Damn, eh?
So I'm not going to Sycharis, Johnny.
Nah, I think I'll pass on that one. That doesn't sound like a great holiday destination.
No. So Laurentics, Iron Warriors. This is not their big fortress. This is one of the worlds in the Bellus Corona system. Laurentics has a very interesting thing called the Dicarian Anchorage. It is a high orbit docking field where they get to, fix void ships, rearm them, outfit them. Except at the core of the station, there is an impossibly ancient, abominable intelligence. AI, Johnny.
AI.
They have an evil chat GPT running the whole anchorage bound by arcane wards and blood rituals. This AI forces all the servitors to keep the whole anchorage running at full capacity for thousands of hours without a break. There are a trio of warpsmiths who have been stationed here to basically keep an eye on the AI and make sure it's just doing what it's supposed to do, because the AI fucking hates them.
They would need to make sure it doesn't rebel.
The thing is trying constantly to rebel. Sometimes the whole anchorage just vibrates as if it's a whole creature thrashing against its chains. The AI talks to the various warsmiths and tries to pit them against each other because they are Iron Warriors and also hate each other, because of course they do.
Just like Daddy hates them all too.
And sometimes it just does things like, whoops, I dropped a spaceship. Ah, well, it was the servitor's fault, I swear. Like, they're fighting a fucking AI that they put themselves there.
I mean, math checks out. There was a whole thing back in the day where the AI rebelled, right?
Yeah, so that's Laurentics. That's what the Iron Warriors are up to. Are you ready for the most horrifying thing I've ever read?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Nah, it's not the most horrifying, but it's pretty up there. So, Narakia. Narakia is a world that was once within the Eye of Terror, but now it has been dragged out by warp storms out of the Eye of Terror. And it's basically just sort of sitting around the Sentinel worlds, which is one side of that, metaphysical canyon I described earlier.
Hmm.
The Sentinel worlds is sort of where the Imperium Popo travel around to try and navigate, the wilds, if you will, for traitors and stuff trying to sneak about. Except Narakia, for whatever reason, seems to drag ships to it like a Bermuda Triangle in space. The surface has hundreds, if not thousands, of crashed void ships. And so the whole world is this graveyard of steel where the surviving crews basically descend into savagery, slavery. Because it's a warp-tainted world, often they just transform into beastmen after a while, and that's fun. And upon the peaks, the carry-on lords of the world, there is a very large mountain that is topped by the Vile Spar, a sky-piercing dread bastion of Flen's master Zavrik of the Night Lords.
I had a feeling we were going to Night Lord's territory.
Upon all of the various spiked outlets of the Vile Spar are imprisoned flayed captives that Zavrik's own sorceress powers keeps alive in perpetuity.
Yeah, math checks out.
The various halls and galleries of the Vile Spar is just gore plastered with blood and peeled faces that are just still alive through sorcery. The various faces are animated by magics. The artworks that the Night Lords put together, yes, they use the word artworks, John.
Oh no, it's not going to be artistic.
Into sculptures of taut expressions of anguish and abject terror.
Oh, it sucks to be those guys.
And you know what? When Zavrik decides it's time to go to war, he picks up his art sculptures, he takes the faces off the walls, puts them on banners, and then keeps them moving and alive whilst in battle. And so if you were to be fighting Zavrik's Flayers on the field of battle, is that banner winking at me? Yes, except it's probably trying to cry.
It's only winking because there's something in its eye.
It's dust. Get it out.
No, that's Thousand Suns.
All of the various banners, that's true. But all the various banners and armaments and such bearing the trophies and art pieces of their victims are just somewhat alive still, forever, moaning and groaning.
It's terrifying. That's so gross.
Oh, yeah. But whenever they need more Flayers to join their war efforts, they descend upon Narakia's various cults and slave traders and mutant folks and basically force them into recruitment. The most murderous evil ones will be inducted into the Trader Astartes through their own methodologies, and then all the various mutants become just cannon fodder. It's not great. It's not good at all.
No, it doesn't sound like it is great.
It's not good at all. But that's Narakia. Can we move on now?
Sure, we can move on.
There's two more that is offered. The Hydra Vault, which I wonder who has the Hydra Vault, John.
Maybe it's the Adeptus Sororitas.
One day. There's an ocean world, and deep below the waves, there's an old Xenos Inquisition fortress that is it's no longer in their pocket. The Alpha Legion have basically stolen this base of operations, concealed it further into the waves. The warband is known as the Whispering Serpents. They basically captured this more than a whole century before Cadia itself fell. This world is right next to Kinchair, by the way. And what's inside is basically a library command center filled to the brim with all the Auto-Xenos knowledge and alien technologies, specimens, weapons. But because it's also an Inquisition base, the Alpha Legion have access to an insane amount of clearance codes, inquisitorial seals, and access to things like drugs to coerce sleeper agents into service.
Drugs?
Yeah, drugs. From this place, they managed to infiltrate various governments and command structures of the nearby worlds and systems. And it's just such a powerful below-ocean command center that various Alpha Legions will just travel there on their own to do a bit of planning and strategy. Occasionally, they'll run into their fellows and they'll just be like, "Hey, what's up? Are you doing a funny thing?" "Yeah, I'm doing a funny thing." "Are you doing a funny thing?" "Oh, yeah, I already did it. I'm just waiting to hear all about it over the radio." "Can I listen?" "Yeah, sure."
Man, these guys.
I love the Alpha Legion.
And I get it. They're so cool.
And then the Pyrus Nebulae is a nebulae that is a very treacherous, like Maelstrom-esque area of space where wannabe Black Legion recruits have to basically navigate through all the treachery of the region just to arrive at a world that is essentially a gladiatorial arena, the Black Legion recruiters essentially say, well, prove yourself then, as if getting there wasn't enough. And they just put recruits against champions of the dark gods, various demon lords, just whoever they want to, really. So they're not even caring too much about getting multiple recruits, just the best. And that's Black Legion in a nutshell, I guess.
Nice. No, that's
nice.
There's just so much going on in this book.
Yeah, I'm at page 24, by the way, of 80.
Oh no.
To be fair,
We still have so much further to go.
To its credit, though, like half of it's the, and then they did a fight, and then they did a fight, and they shot someone, and then that person shot back. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah. Typical bolter porn.
Yeah, Black Library Light. There's a whole spread on the Iron Warriors, but it's basically telling you what you already know if you've ever had an Iron Warriors story. It's worth noting, though, that they are the most cohesive legion. Their various war companies, or what are they called, grand companies, are essentially chapter-sized strength, as in Space Marine chapters, and there are, if my math is mathing, there could potentially be anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 active Iron Warriors, which is a lot.
That's a lot of brothers.
That's a lot of brothers, except as the years have gone by, they become even more hardy and ruthless, if that were even possible. So basically, whoever has made it are even more of an arrogant, resilient asshole than the Iron Warriors you would come to expect in, say, the Heresy.
Somehow the warp has made them more assholic.
Yeah, they are all like miniature Perturabos, all the leadership. They're not just, go to town, have fun, do something fun. They're all, by necessity, just really tough bastards that all work as a sort of cohesive whole, with some rivalries, of course, but overall, they're all relatively bound together, at least nowadays.
Yeah, they kind of remind me of the World Eaters a little bit, where they're doing everything in their power to emulate and receive the love of their dad, and dad's just like, I fucking hate you.
Oh, yeah. Their gene seed has deteriorated over time to the point where paranoia is now a characteristic that they are burdened with.
Oh, mate. It's like every single legion has like some quirk to their gene seed, and the Iron Warriors got paranoia instead of mutation.
Yeah, they did. They got fucking paranoia. They're just like paranoid about rivals and the plans and all that stuff. And so they need these hard-ass warsmiths to basically like, you'll do what I tell you to do or you'll be dead like the rest of them.
Like, there's no need to be paranoid. If I tell you, I'll kill you.
Yeah, it does say that they're not like particularly uniform in their arrangement, but they're probably the most true to the old ways of organizing a legion of all of the various Space Marines, which is terrifying to think about considering they still have their dad.
Yeah, right? Although Dad did kill half of them off really early into their story.
Yeah, decimation. That was an interesting choice. Kill a tenth of the Legion. Really? Yes. Or I'll kill 2/10 of the Legion.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I get it.
Gotta weed out the weak.
That's it. Take away the safety stickers.
Hey, watch out, brother. Watch where you're putting your sword. Didn't you see the hazard stripes on my blade, brother? You should have watched out yourself, brother. I thought we were brothers. No, brother. Dad says we're not anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the Iron Warriors in a nutshell. So, Iron Warriors. Obviously, they don't have access to infinite amounts of artillery anymore, despite their best efforts. So they've resorted to such things as defilers and flesh metal curses, as well as massed mortal assaults. And then they just come in later.
They did make the flesh metal curse, right? Isn't that their doing?
Yeah, more or less. It was an experiment that now is a bit more widespread as a implementation. But some warsmiths have been rumored to just force their dudes into the flesh metal virus when they weren't meant to. So they have more flesh metal people. Ah, well.
Potato.
Potato. There's a few excerpts of a couple of the other random warsmiths. None of them are the ones we know about, by the way. It's just other people.
Randos.
Randos? Yeah, I know, right? These books are full of randos. There's Warsmith Kargra, or Korga? No.
Karga.
Czagra. Kargra?
CZ.
Kazagra? Whatever. Once upon a time, was invited by Abaddon to seize control of an Ark of Omen. They did so. It's called the Herald of Misery. They transformed the whole bloody thing into a technological and sorcerous marvel of labyrinthine defense impervious to all.
Nice.
When they did the task that was assigned to them by Abaddon, the Warsmith decided, I'm going to take this big old ship and we're going to go over to the Red Scar region of space, which is the Blood Angel territory. And they went there after High Fleet Leviathan decided to do the whole devastation of Baal thing. And so you have a Iron Warriors converted Ark of Omen laying siege to Blood Angels and Tyranids alike.
See, that's my guys. They just siege everyone all at the same time.
Oh, yeah, and it just keeps going. There's Warsmith Baldarun and his sworn ally, a renegade commander known as Abriel Shard. They decided to pop out of the Great Rift when it expanded across the stars and emerged out of a trio of nebulae in the galactic core, a place known as the Hadean Trinary, and they decided to go to war with the Greater Thurian League of the Votan. This sudden surge of assault was so sudden and serious that by the time the kin were able to figure out what was going on and mount a response, several kindreds had been fully overrun, firmly entrenched from within, and just turned into a gore-drenched spectacle of a conflict, as the Iron Warriors, in this particular case, really wanted to please the Dark Gods with this mass wanton slaughter of a bunch of dwarf clones, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they have, like, less value to the Chaos Gods because they're all the same person?
I don't know. Like, what are you trying to achieve? Do you just want a bloody war that makes the various members of the kin sad? Then you're probably going to impress Khorne.
Yeah, I guess. It just feels...
If they firmly entrench themselves in the core away from everyone, and then all of a sudden you show up and flip the script, that could please Zin.
I guess it's the argument of souls. Like, how do clones interact with the idea of having a soul? Because souls are definitely something that exists in the 40k universe.
Do you know about the Mad Core? One of the Votan, which are big supercomputers.
Yeah. One of the AI.
Yeah, do you know the Mad Core?
No.
It is the sole survivor.
Does he look after the Chthonians?
No, I wish. The Mad Core is the sole survivor of its kindred. The whole organic side of its people were wiped out, leaving just the Mad Core, which wasn't always mad, but then it became a bit mad. It became quite insane and unhinged, grew a modicum of sentience that actually gave it a warp reflection, and it's like a mini Astronomicon in the warp. Because it's like, I fucking hate everything. You took everything from me. And it's just an AI
See, that
has a warp reflection.
That's some neat lore.
Yeah.
It got so angry and close to alive that it developed a soul.
With that said, though, I think they introduced the kin as the new punching bag. Every time I read about the kin, it's just how they got fucked up by someone else.
Oh, they're the new Tau, are they?
Yeah, I think so.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But I guess everyone's a punching bag for the Space Marines if you read the books.
Yeah. Do you want to hear about Medrengard now?
Sure.
Now, this is the Iron Warrior homeworld, built somewhat in reflection of Olympus, which the Iron Warriors definitely blew up at some point in the Heresy because Perturabo got moody.
I was about to say, he had a tantrum.
He had a tantrum and blew up his planet.
He skipped his nap that day.
You know he had a sister that he actually liked?
Yeah, I did know that. It was back before he got found, right?
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, he actually killed her in a rage and then got really bitter about everything and blew up the planet.
Yeah.
Classic Perturabo.
That's the Perturabo way.
But she was actually nice to him, so idiot.
Yeah. There's obviously something going on in that head, right? Like, he's not all there.
There's too much and simultaneously nothing.
he got so elated when he realized what the warp was that he could see in the shadows of the distance.
You know what's like the most bittersweet thing
What?
from the heresy that I learned recently? So apparently, with the whole drop site massacre thing, the second wave was obviously meant to reinforce the first wave. But from what I gather, Dawn actually gave command to Perturabo.
Yeah.
As a like, hey, I see what you're doing. Everyone's been giving you a hard time. I believe in you. This is your mission. And then Perturabo's like, I'm already fucking rebelling, dickhead.
Yeah. There was definitely well, that came too late.
Yeah, it definitely came too late, but, you know, apparently Dawn's not a soulless bastard.
No, he's just very much daddy's golden child.
Yeah, literally.
He's not the favorite, but he definitely wants to be.
Until he comes back as a Black Templar.
Sorry, Sanguinius stole that honor.
Oh, dearie me. So, Medrengard, this place sucks.
Yeah.
The whole thing is cities and fortresses, and if it's not cities and fortresses...
I was going to say, it's one big castle.
Yeah, if it's not cities and fortresses, it's a desolate ashen desert split by bubbling rivers of molten lava. Yay.
Yeah. Every resource has been put to use, so now there's nothing left.
Also, the sky is black and white. How much bleaker do you want to get, John, than by being a world...
They have a monochromatic world? That's so cool.
The star is black. The orb casts no light. It draws life and vitality away from the planet. Mortal thralls who are too long under the sun are drained of their life force, with threads of infernal smoke trailing from the star to siphon the atmosphere bit by bit, mixing with the plumes of the pollutants expelled by the ever-burning forges.
That is such a cool description.
Oh no. How about this? All manner of monstrous creatures and tortured constructs haunt the wilds, many the result of failed macabre experimentations. Formed of warped flesh and twisted metal, these shambling predatory creatures are constantly racked with pain, driven by inescapable hunger and a burning desire to vent their self-pitying malice upon mortal victims.
Jesus.
This place is kind of like a word-bearer world in the sense that they just keep rising edifices as big and powerful as they can, except here it's like various warsmiths creating just hideous, brutalist bastions that are not very pretty, but they are just thick. They are soaring. They are decked to the nines with turrets and bunkers interconnected from one another to the point where it's almost like a rite of passage to lay siege upon your rivals' like neighborhood castles just to prove that you're better than them and you can do a better one on the ashes of their buildings.
That is very Iron Warriors.
Yeah, it says over the course of many millennia, thousands of these fortresses have been constructed by ascendant warsmiths only to be razed to the ground by victorious challengers, and yet grander and more intimidating citadels built atop their corpse-strewn ruins.
Always has to be corpse-strewn ruins, doesn't it?
Of course it does. There's a really fun piece of art which makes some of the buildings look like demon buildings. Like they've got faces carved into the sides of things with the infernal forge lights glowing as the eyes.
Pretty sick.
Ships are just docking in and out. Turrets are fashioned as dragon skull muzzles to the turrets. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you were showing me a slightly more organic version of Cybertron if the Decepticons won.
So nice. That's a nice way to describe it.
It's evil gothic Decepticon ran Cybertron, yeah. It does mention a couple of places across, including the Classicon, which is the grandest of all the fortifications upon the world. The fake Greek here, Arazikion, I'll do, is a sprawling industrial city nestled in a valley between parallel spiniform mountain ranges, the peaks of which radiate pure malice. and there are a handful of narrow passes leading through the mountains into a dark, smoke-veiled city beyond, with turrets rising from the outer slopes keeping vigil. Dome structures line the streets. Mortals shuffle silently in the shadows of towering demon forges, emaciated and bloodied. And at the very heart of the city, from an onyx isle amidst a lake of molten lava, rises Perturabo's sanctuary and strategium, the so-called Classicon.
That's a classic con.
That's a classic con. Behind the structure's yards-thick walls, far from prying eyes, endless streams of data flow constantly through the classic con's monolithic cogitator banks. Information such as this, whether returned to Medrengard by the Warsmiths and their companies, torn from the minds of captives obtained through alliances with Alpha Legion infiltrators, divined through cryptic sorcerer prophecies, or hissed by malicious demons, is ruthlessly interrogated, purged by cogitator leech cyber thralls for days, and then filtered straight into Perturabo's central sanctum. There the primarch pores over an endless influx of statistics and field reports, simultaneously engaging in psychic communion with distant agents and engaging in battles of wills with demonic entities as Perturabo himself interprets, quantifies, and extrapolates the data as cables attached to his cranium twitch and writhe as he applies what he has learned, devoting portions of his intellect to the task of plotting future offensives. He has made a million such plans, discarded those that were not perfect, and now he stirs from his reverie with a vigor not seen in centuries. He is mustering the Legion again. For a lot of his sons, they feel that Perturabo is finally returning to the front.
Nice. Come back to us, Daddy. But also, in amongst all that, there was one thing that was said that really drew my attention.
Yeah.
He's a psycho?
Apparently. He's been blessed by the dark gods.
Now he's psychic.
It's a pretty good description, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that was very cool. My boy's doing his thing.
And then after that, they're like, oh, by the way, they have forges that rival the dark mechanic. And be like, yeah, whatever, shut up, next. It's worth noting, though, that he also has created an alliance with Vashtor the Archifane. Didn't see that coming, eh?
Oh, I assumed they were going to be best of buddies.
Except Vashtor has made a pact with Abaddon. Perturabo sees Abaddon as not much better than his upstart father. And so Vashtor's like, well, I like you more. You're probably going to do a better job. But I made a deal, and I'm a man thing of my word. So Vashtor can't exactly betray Abaddon, except all of the technology he provides have these cyber demons sort of wedged into all the ships and defenses and stuff, which just systematically relay information like a spy network back to Perturabo,
nice.
Which I think is pretty fun.
Yep.
So Perturabo, we get a bit of a description of him now. A little abstract, but still a description. In the nature of the Empyrean, it is the nature of the Empyrean, also the name of the Fourth Wing book series, funnily enough, to draw forth and give physical shape to the obsessions of sentient beings. Perturabo has languished in its tides for many mortal lifespans, and the very essence of his demonic form is a grotesque blending of the Emperor's alchemy with the raw stuff of chaos. As such, he has come to physically embody all-consuming rancor and resentment. So withering is Perturabo's contempt that lesser life forms exposed to his corporeal manifestation wilt as though before the open heart of an atomic reactor. Wherever the Lord of Iron prowls, clouds of scalding steam and bitter smoke billow into being. Within them, half-seen, churn mechanisms of bladed cogs, said to be the manifestation of Perturabo's endless and obsessive analysis of every failure, insult, and disappointment that he has suffered. Mortals who have endured the Lord of Iron's presence speak in whispers of eyes like coals measuring their worth. looming before a presence that's an avalanche about to crash down upon them in wrath. His voice is said to sound like the pounding thunder of artillery fire and forge hammers. His breath sounds like bones cracking beneath tank tracks, and the roar of flame is pouring fire through breached walls. What a guy.
What a wild description.
This dude has become an infernal force of nature, like a quantum physics version of like a primordial being, you know? He's artifice, he is the fabric of reality, he is just resentment itself. He is basically a living forge. What a description.
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder, like, this description and the way that they portray Perturabo, what is the Imperium meant to actually do against this threat? He seems unstoppable.
Well, his plan also seems unstoppable.
Yeah. He's like, I've literally contemplated over millions of ideas, millions of adjustments to come up with the perfect plan. It's like, after that, what do you do? How do you stop that?
Well, I don't think if he succeeds, you can realistically stop him until the Space Marines have the Deus Ex Machina, but...
I know they'll find a way, but how?
He has a plan, Johnny. He has a plan.
That's more that can be said for most of the chaos out there.
His plan is the Infinite Citadel.
Which in and of itself sounds frustratingly annoying to go up against.
So Perturabo has been thinking and planning for a long time, and he's decided that Abaddon's way of warfare, carving a bloody path towards the throne world, is short-sighted, it is arrogant, and will spend resources he just doesn't have, much like Horus did all those years ago.
Here we go. The comparison to Horus, that's where it starts.
Perturabo feels like the Imperium is too big to wage war in the way that Horus and now Abaddon would, which makes sense. They are very widespread.
Yeah.
Perturabo sees that despite how thin they've become, how many opponents they have, they will still probably win just through sheer resources alone. So just carving a path is not going to do it.
Yeah, you need something else.
He needs to do something else. So Perturabo has come up with the Infinite Citadel. Any ideas what that might mean?
Having more resources than the entirety of the Imperium.
Yeah, more or less. So he basically has come to see that the Imperium is one galactic-sized fortress. Not various holdouts, not various worlds, but a specific fortress that can be breached like you breach walls. And he is trying to plan his breaking apart of it like that. Here, let me read the thing. Perturabo aims to raise what he names the Infinite Citadel. The Lord of Iron has penned in sanity-blasting detail the blueprints for a network of interlocking, interstellar fortifications whose full scale and complexity defy mortal comprehension. He sees entire worlds turned into keeps, moons made into barbicans bristling with city-sized demonic artillery. He envisions entire systems quarried to rubble to build ramparts so immense they stretch through the veil of the warp itself to span the colossal gulfs between stars. In Perturabo's mind, the Infinite Citadel expands outward from the Eye of Terror to dominate and oppress system after system, world after world. It bulldozes its way across the lightless void, relentless and mercilessly methodical, caging stars and fortifying entire conquered subsectors one after another. Battle by battle, it works its way towards Terra not in a rush, but with infinite patience, and while leaving no foe to the rear or flank that might sour his plans. The blood shed in each cataclysmic campaign will serve as offerings to the dark gods, while Noctilith menhirs, raised amidst the ruins, will harness the power of the Great Rift and permit the mightiest demons and demon primarchs, plural, to walk the ways of the Infinite Citadel at will, when eventually this infernal network grinds its way into the fringes of the Sol system. It will have bound real space and the warp together with chains of iron and throttled Terra so completely with hostile siege works that he will have already won.
So his entire plan is to just surround them.
Yep. And just constantly tighten that noose.
And also to bring peace to the warp by combining it with the real world, right?
Yeah. I'm amazed by the whole... Like, he looks at Noctilith and he thinks, this doesn't just turn off the warp, it can widen the warp. And so turning Noctilith menhirs into basically traffic lights to basically
control the warp.
Say green light and this door opens and you can go to that sector. You can walk through this doorway and you'll be over there. The void is no matter anymore. Walk the wall, go through the gate, you're over there now.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Will he get there?
Yes.
Gods no. The Imperium has to win. But should he? Yeah, it's a great plan. And that's what made me go, holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah, right?
So,
dude has a plan, which is a great idea to have. Like, there's so many people who are just violent for the sake of violence in this setting, or whose emotions get too big for their own brains. And to see someone who's just this methodical and it not be the one that people thought were the smart guy. The wizard isn't the smart one this time. It's the autistic Lego user.
Jeez. The autistic Lego user, eh?
He just wanted to stay home and play with his Lego, okay?
Yeah, he did.
And Daddy said no.
But for the longest time since the heresy, he's just been biding his time, playing along, working with the others. And now it's just like, nah, we're ready. We're ready to be the dominant force.
It's our time to shine.
It's our time to shine. He's got dark mechanicum allies such as the evil forge world of Temporia, which we're getting bits and pieces of dark mech lore over these supplements. There's been a little push of them in the lore of the heresy game as well, so any day now, Johnny, any day now.
Oh, it's almost time.
Every single one of these books has mentioned to some extent orc pirates and dark mechanicum, even naming dark mechanicum forces such as Temporia.
Yeah, it feels very close, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. So that's Perturabo, Medringard, and the Infinite Citadel. Not bad, eh?
Not bad at all.
The rest of the book, and by that I mean like the next like 60% of the book, is rather direct, I would say. It's rather easy to break it down. We get a bifold spread on Kravek Morne, new kid on the block. He is the most Iron Warrior to ever warrior inside Iron. His first paragraph is all you really need to know. Warsmiths from the senior command echelon of the Iron Warriors. Warsmiths form. I can't read today. Each leads their own grand company and typically specializes in a particular facet of warfare, be it constructing supernaturally enhanced fortifications, raiding death on the foe with massed artillery, or leading devastating armored spearheads. Kravek Morne's specialism lies in the brute fury of headlong, gate-shattering, rampart-toppling assaults. Kravek Morne.
Nice.
He has been a warsmith for a couple of millennia. He is one of Perturabo's most favored sons. He is super ferocious, cold, and calculating. He has a modified plate of cataphracti Terminator armor that he calls the Iron Mantle, which he has put additional systems and weaponized mechatendrils that his mind impulse unit can activate. He cares not for even his own real forces to an extent. He just gets given a job and goes for it. He doesn't care about minefields, firestorms, hidden foes. He'll just keep going. But he is very smart. He can direct bombardments, deploy underlings and allies, lead his almost like he's just so adept at assaults.
He's a great commander.
He is a great commander. And he also once tried to fight the Agripinaa Forge World and lost. So now that he's been given a command to go get it, he's like, fine, I'll do it. I want to do it, actually.
Another attempt? I know what I did wrong last time.
And would you believe me if I told you that he actually fights with an insane amount of obliterators and mutilators?
I would believe you, actually. I've seen the detachments.
Oh, look at that. The next page is defilers and mutilators. Mutilators I find interesting in the sense that they start off basically being drawn to these sort of cursed weapons. Every weapon that makes a kill has a warp reflection, right? So the more killing you do with a certain weapon, the more sort of tainted it can become. Mutilators have this sort of feverish, drug-like lust for these weapons. They will kind of begin to use them. Their flesh and armor will begin to consume the weapon to the point where they usually have a sort of video game arsenal with a few weapons just stored vaguely within their being that they can essentially summon, except it does the Wolverine blades through the hand thing.
Yeah.
Their bodies crack apart.
They can warp their physical form.
Yeah, the bodies crack apart and split apart as blades just smush their way out from their bodies. And oh, look, I've got my claws out today.
They equip weapons like we equip clothes.
Kind of, except we don't usually split our body open to do that.
I don't know, don't we?
Not yet.
Just our bank accounts.
Just the bank account. I haven't worn my magic cards, Johnny. What do you mean?
Not yet.
Not yet. One day. Got to do something with all my bulk.
Keep casting these spells and you'll have worn them down.
Yeah, got to do something with all my bulk. I would not be surprised if one day we get a sort of epic hero mutilator, because they mentioned that the eldest relic weapons may even develop sentience. So imagine big mutilator with several weapons that are each like a weapon of some description, maybe like old demons from the lore or something like that, or old weapons that someone used once upon a while. That could be cool.
That would be pretty cool. Give me more epic heroes. I don't own enough of them.
And then there's not much really to note about defilers except that they're very powerful, Johnny, and they need a war smith and a master of possession to put them together. Master of possession summons, the warp smith melds. Ta-da!
Imagine needing two dudes to tell this guy what to do.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. It's a bifold spread of models that makes some of us want to do an Iron Warriors army all of a sudden.
Join the dark side.
I'm waiting for my Alpha Legion, you know me. They do really well with the spreads of models in this, actually, with the Army v Army. There's been pages of Chaos Knights with the Iron Warriors. It's a page of Kravek Morne going up against some Imperial Fists. It's all really well and good. But we do get, after this, some stuff about the Agripinaa system, of which I talked about earlier in the episode. We get a bit of a spiel about Thulia Ghuld. She actually gets 3 pages of lore, Johnny.
Nice. Go, girl.
We talked about her a bit in the Eye of Terror datasheets episode, a little bit about her lore there, actually. But a couple of extra things I didn't actually know at the time is that she actually has like a super arsenal on Mars that is just like her basically stealing things from other people and just saying, I need that because I am the god of destruction's tool made manifest. So in her little garage back home, she has a bunch of things, including several Ordinatus engines. You know the Ordinatus Armageddon from Hell's Reach?
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, she's just got several of those, just chilling in her garage.
Nice.
They kind of sent her to Agripinaa because she also sucks to be around. She's like an insufferable co-worker. All she wants to do is wage war, and she often tests her weaponry accidentally at her various other Archmagos' lairs and castles or whatever Admech tend to build. They'll just like suddenly have half their castle blow up, and she's like, whoops, it's stronger than I expected.
I understand why the Imperium love her so much. She's just a commissar in a red cape.
Well, actually, it's mainly the Skitarii that love her, because the Skitarii are just rank and file dudes sent to war. And so here's the embodiment of war per Admech philosophy. And they're like, ah, yes, she's going to give us more weapons. She's going to send us to battle. And she actually gives a damn about us because we're the ones that do the war.
Interesting.
Yeah, she does. She has a tendency to blow up her allies' bases, steal things from them, well, appropriate them. Like, I need this for the Omnissiah's efforts, obviously. But because she's also so fiercely war-focused, a lot of the ruling elite of Mars are kind of fearful for her doing some sort of like secession or uprising, because she keeps getting various detractors, people who aren't too fussed on the science and more fussed on the doing of the war and killing of the opponents.
Yep.
And she's getting like a lot of political clout.
And everyone's getting a little worried because she's a warmonger.
And Cole hates her because she does not care about the science and development. She's like, well, can't do that if there are enemies to kill, you know?
That sounds like a future problem.
So it is a future problem. And so she hates him back. And it's finally because you can run both of them on the tabletop at the same time.
Yeah, they probably compete against each other.
Yeah, that's Thulia Ghuld. There's more on her in our last Eye of Terror episode. Astari, similar phenomena. They're just really well-engineered Skitarii that have gyroscopic stabilizers and power packs. And to actually build one of them, like in the setting, is actually really expensive. They have lots of very expensive equipment. We get a page on the Knight's Destroyer, which is pretty much as you would imagine. They're kind of described as a bit more of a Knight Cavalry version. They are considered the fastest of the Bellatus class of chassis, which does indicate there'll be more Bellatus class Knights to come.
You mean loadouts, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. There's a little excerpt about the Banishers, which is a trio of Knights Destroyer who are each piloted by one of the triplet daughters of Archduchess Celicia of the House Tyrannus. So that's pretty neat. 3 sisters, each leading a destroyer. What a fun epic hero kit that would be.
Ooh.
Oh, wait a minute. Can't have epic heroes, can we?
Imagine like 1,000-point epic hero and it's just 3 destroyers.
Each with a name. Their names are Annika, Delatria, and Rodea. There you go.
No, it'll become an epic hero when 2 of the sisters die.
You're so right. They have the briefest of spiels of how the Knight's Destroyer manifest across houses Tyrannus, Raven, Crast, and Hawkshroud. You want to hear any of them?
Sure, let's do it.
Which one?
Oh, you actually want me to decide on one? Let's go with the first one.
Yeah.
The first one.
Tyrannus. So, Lancers of House Tyrannus formed an essential component of Archmage Terminus Thulia Ghuld's relief force, commanded by someone named Baron Helvon Tiaven. These Lancers were composed of experienced scions who have waged war alongside the Archmagos for more than a decade. They are at her side during the storming of Crucius Gamma, where they engaged and defeated the traitor knights of House Voron, and at the closing of the Tarantino Pocket, it's actually Tarantine, but I said Tarantino, where 3 Lancers pooled their might to topple the Banelord Titan Balefire. Baron Tiaven and his fellow nobles have now been granted the honor of joining Ghuld's vanguard for the looming Agripinaan campaign. Tiaven has every intention of honoring his house's sworn vows to Mars and winning glorious victories in the name of the Omnissiah. They're all kind of like that.
Yeah, math checks out.
Math checks out. Moving on. Oh, look at that very nice spread of AdMech units. Oh my god, Thulia Ghuld's like huge. She's like as tall as their tanks.
Holy.
Oh, look at that. We've made it to the actual war.
Wait, what? We haven't made it to the lore yet?
No, the war.
Oh.
The opening stage of the Infinite Citadel.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. Here we go. Here's a quote. Perturabo's strategic seance with Warsmith Kravek Morne before the advance on Agripinaa. The time has come. I would love to do, by the way, Perturabo's deep, husky, avalanche. But I can't do that. And if I do that now, I will not have a voice for the rest of the episode.
So do it right at the end.
Yeah, maybe. The time has come. We have borne insults and suffered fools for long enough. I have laid my plans for the Infinite Citadel, perfected the rituals, and drawn out the schema. Nothing now can stop its raising. Let them all see what we are capable of, Warsmith. Let them all realize, far too late, how lamentably they have underestimated us. It has already begun. Hasta and Kyra lead the advance towards the loyalist Risible Sanctus Wall. Cosfor commands the push on Kinchair. Chakal, the Sentinel Worlds, and Gravox, the gravy, will lead the siege of Bellus Corona. Your task is the greatest of all. To you falls the conquest of Agripinaa. We need its forges, its weapons, and its secrets. Secrets the loyalist drudges of that world do not even comprehend. You, Warsmith Morne, will punish them for their ignorance. You will claim these prizes for me and slaughter all who stand in your way. You will be the iron within and the iron without, the unyielding gauntlet closing about the throats of our foes, the hammer blow that staves in their gates and brings down their tallest towers. You will do this because it is what you were made for. You will do it because no other could. Most of all, you will do this because I command it. Go now and return to me only in victory. What you think?
Perturabo's such a dad.
Such a dad.
Why are you doing this? Because I fucking said
Don't come
so.
back a failure, by the way. So how much forces has Morne been granted? He's been given 102 warbands of the 17th Grand Company, 80 warbands of the 16th Grand Company, 26 warbands of the 8th Grand Company. So he's got 2 other warsmiths with him as well. He has a siege train, which has got 8 siege covens of sorcerers and their acolytes. He's got the Temporia Dark Mechanicum Infernal Artillery. He's got the Dark Mechanicum Temporia Demonic Siege Engines. He's got the Temporia Dark Mechanicum Omni Auxiliae. He's got Chaos Knights, Johnny. He's got Lancers and supporting Idolaters from houses Nor, Commentus, and Chimea. He's got Trader Titans. He's got Legio Furians, Mortis, and Volturum. He's got the Traitor Guard with forces from the Styx Hatemongers, the Liberated Saints, and the Never Guard. Cult Elements should be considered functionally inexhaustible at this time. And then a bunch of ships, including the Ark of Omen Netherworld Blade. But please note, the Netherworld Blade might have a possible demonic threat aboard.
Oh.
One of these void ships is called Admiral Bleak, which I think's great.
Admiral Bleak.
Yeah. What you think of the setup?
That's a lot of forces to be sending into a battle. Talk about overkill.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of overkill in this, but it's for good measure too.
The Imperium is cracked, so you have to overkill them.
There's basically 3 major steps in this campaign that we get to read about. The first is the purging of Cadia. But Josh, isn't the Cadia in control of the Black Legion? Yep. So, after the Cadia fell, Abaddon gave command of the place to some fellow from the heresy named Quan, and then moved on to go get Nakmund. Quan has been basically building this place up, going after all the various Cadian holdouts, doing this as a bit of a staging base, trying to make sense of the demon world they were upon. And then Perturabo decided he needs that too. He needs Cadia as the linchpin of this whole thing. If he wants the Infinite Citadel, he needs Cadia to begin it, obviously. So eventually, Quan and his dudes are just hanging out, living life, doing their job, where Iron Warrior ships start to nearby them in orbit. Lord Quan send him hails, what you doing, why are you here? And about the time the Fox relays got to their ships, the exchange was made. By the time the messages went out, long-range void torpedoes begun to assail the Black Legion stronghold. And in response over the Vox relay was Kravek Morne's laughter. That's exactly how it sounds. The purge of Cadia had begun. So, ahead of time, Kravek Morne's sorcerers scryed the demon world to figure out where all the Black Legion were. The Weird Jinn, as they're called.
Yeah, you can't call them that.
No, they're called Weird Jinn. WYREDJINN. Weird Jinn.
Yeah, they're weird genies.
Yeah, weird genies were placed into all of the computer banks by Vashtor, whose divinations gave Morne the exact data of where and how to strike. So the skies of Cadia began to burn as Iron Warrior invasion craft descended. Cultists, mutants, Traitor Guard just landed in tight formations, catching the Black Legion by relative surprise. The Black Legion had their anti-orbital fires, of course. Dark Mechanicum were here, able to repair rents in the armor. They were able to do this, it's called lingua technis, which is basically computer talk. And they essentially did techno-sorcery hacking of the orbital guns to shut them down as more Iron Warriors landed upon the planet surface. The Black Legion obviously felt quite outnumbered, because why would their allies suddenly go to attack them?
Because they trusted Perturabo. In response, Lord Quan decided that if he was going to fall, he may as well make his fall count. So he commanded his sorcerers to perform a ritual, and then basically had his astropath scream out into the warp a distress call that Cadia is under attack by a superior enemy force, lasting defense impossible, employing countermeasures, and delaying tactics.
send aid. As Kravek Morne would say,
Damn.
honor is just another word for weakness, and the Iron Warriors deal only in strength.
Iron within.
The sorcerers of the Black Legion basically were inside a witching tower of the fortress they called the Oubliette. Their ritual had basically consumed hundreds of sacrificial victims that were amongst the Noctilith deposits from these sort of quarries that the Black Legion was setting up. The sorcerers take this power, expand it out, and created a whole warp storm to surround Cadia itself. Unnatural aurora crackled through Cadia's skies. Clouds the color of blood, pus, and plasma fire raced across heavens, already curdled by the unholy outpourings of the Immaterium. Distorted demonic visages the size of continents shimmered into being, then tattered away again. Iron Warriors' attack craft were struck by warp lightning and transmogrified into detonations of fire and bubbling flesh. On the surface, the bloody mortals of Morne's first attack waves cowered as mutagenic storms descended upon them, the doses of Frenzon and Slaught coursing through their bloodstreams no match for the horror to which they were subjected. Several Iron Warrior warships wallowing in low orbit as they prepared to rain shells and invasion craft onto the planet were assailed by spectral tendrils squirming from the storm. They fired maneuvering thrusters as they sought to escape. One ship, Ogre's Shadow, vanished entirely as 100-mile-long ectoplasmic tendrils coiled about it, and it was sucked unshielded into the warp.
Oh no, that's not where you want to be.
And so a ground war began where Black Legion bikers, rhinos, helldrakes began to just run out en masse and start hunting and fighting. Black Legion forces spread out into the wilds where Iron Warriors would hunt them, only to realize the Black Legion did kind of know all the wilds they were within, and a bit of a kill-teamy skirmish began in various sectors of the world. However, the Iron Warriors also had a bit of a plan. They had deployed advanced forces yonks ago with havocs and tanks and all of that actually having hidden themselves upon the surface of Cadia. So as the Black Legion began to scramble, the Iron Warriors were already there, rising up from their hidden regions like a noose, tightening upon the fortress.
Hurrah, we're here.
So Quan was trying to give it like a notice to Abaddon to basically tell him that the Iron Warriors had turned upon Abaddon and the War Master. And in trying to do so, Kravek Morne decided he needed to just go. And so he and his Terminator guard did a teleportation strike into the Oubliette and basically decapitated the whole command squad. Upon the Oubliette, the sorcerers, Kravek Morne bonked the head off the shoulders of Lord Quan, and bit by bit, Cadia belonged back into the Iron Warriors.
People who deserve it the most.
There are, of course, lots of like smaller moments of what I just said, but it's like realistically 10 pages of lore to basically give in detail a lot of the bit by bit fighting that each, unit that you can field in the game is pretty much doing. Like lots of just back and forth, feints and strikes and thrusts of various forces. Yeah, but it's quite fun. The Iron Warriors do not care anymore, and they started by bonking off some Black Legion to gain access to the Cadian Noctilith quarries. But Morne had things to do, so he left one of his warsmith generals behind to take over the world and moved on to the world of Taurus Tertium.
Taurus Tertium.
Taurus Tertium. Basically, all the things I mentioned earlier about the break glass in case of emergency, build up your world to be a fortress super quickly.
Yep.
This is probably the most further along of them all. Taurus Tertium.
He was like, oh, they seem to have gone the furthest. Let's take them down first, because then the rest is easy.
Yeah, Taurus Tertium is also the site of where Ursula Creed Old Man Creed of the Guard's daughter. She has basically come to this planet to boost morale with her force of Cadian 8th, survivors of the fall of Cadia, who are so inspired by their general because they feel guilty for losing their planet that they will do just about anything to achieve victory. And so Lord Castellan Creed is upon the world, and Taurus Tertium is next in the sight lines of Kravek. Interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Like the very first invasions of the system following the fall was by World Eaters that they managed to repel. Then more subtly, Alpha Legion managed to infiltrate the upper command structure and they managed to repel them as well. So Ursula Creed has basically turned this into like a super high morale foothold to rally the whole Cadian Gate. But Morne needs to break this up because they're getting too good, actually. And so basically what Kravek Morne does is deploy just about everybody to the fighting, where he and all his various forces choose a few separate fortresses, all the biggest keystones of leadership upon the planet, and begin to do a whole multi-front, multi-prong assault, artillery, demon engines, orbital things. But the major threat is the Tower of Detestation. The Tower of Detestation is basically like 3 fortresses in one, give or take a few more, with massive batteries of turrets and astropathic spires and all of that jazz. But yeah, Titan was deployed to go and fight them, and yet nonetheless the Imperium was holding until they got reinforcements.
As they do.
As part of the initial siege, the Iron Warriors basically took the whole orbit defense system bit by bit into their own power, basically limiting any sort of orbital defense, creating this orbital blockade between the planet and the void. However, a lone Imperial Fist cruiser, as well as a Black Templar cruiser, managed to get through the blockade and touch down upon the planet, featuring none other than Darneth Lysander.
Of course he's there.
He was doing some stuff over at Bellis Corona when the Taurus Tertium cry for help went out. He's like, yeah, all right, I hate Iron Warriors, let's go.
I hate Iron Warriors, let's go.
And what kind of happened is that the Fists and some Black Templars they picked up along the way touched down and made their way through to try and push back against the whole Iron Warriors that were attacking the Tower of Detestation. All of a sudden, the Iron Warriors had been flanked. And what was going on was that like Black Templars were able to surge into melee and just run amok because they're Black Templars.
And that's what they do?
That's what they do. The Imperial Fist had heaps of repulsors, gladiators, terminators. Darneth Lysander is like first company captain. So these are like the Imperial Fist elites.
Yep.
The cream of the crop. And they managed to reach the tower, reinforce it, but by cutting through the Iron Warriors to get inside the fortress to reinforce it, they also kind of forced themselves to become encircled. But if they stayed out, they would have just been surely outnumbered. But the thing is, they weren't exactly winning, but the Iron Warriors weren't exactly losing either. They were in a bit of a stalemate. And so Kravek Morne's like, I have places to be and things to do, and picked another of his generals to stay behind and continue the good fight, and just left with a good chunk of his forces.
Nice.
He's like, we've done enough. We've basically holed up this whole planet. This whole Neo-Cadian stronghold is in our grip. We just have to weather the storm and gradually tighten the noose. We've got the majority of the orbital forces. We've trapped a couple of key Imperial Fist commanders here with them. We're fine. We've done enough. We got demon engines, we got Traitor Guard, we got Titans. We'll probably win eventually. And so Kravek moved on to Agripinaa.
Agripinaa. No, jokes.
Agripinaa. Now, Agripinaa is an interesting field of fight because Agripinaa could very easily be reinforced, right?
Yep.
And so Kravek's idea was to actually encircle Agripinaa by attacking 3 separate systems which feed into it: Oleandros, Trove, and Vendara. 3 separate systems that Kravek Morne split his forces up even further into. With Cadia's pacification nearing completion, the Tauros system well under its besiegement, he needed to capture 3 more so that Agripinaa could not receive reinforcements.
Nice.
But he did not exactly account for the fact that Thulia Ghuld would be deployed by Mars to make sure Agripinaa does not fucking fall.
I mean, they had to send someone, right?
Yeah, but you know who decided to join her in her little defensive efforts?
Belisarius Call.
Karnok Va and the Iron Hands.
Ah, it's all the new guys.
It's all the new guys. And so Karnok Va and Thulia Ghuld are able to pretty much smash one of the sieges to the side. And this kind of makes Kravek Morne think, I can't fail Dad. So basically days of ferocious conflict follows. Orbital theaters, moons are all under siege. Skitarii, Knights, Titans, Ordinatus are all making planetfall. Basically freak weather storms, including creatures known as Ua worms, which makes me think of Ua dragon, which is a big ick. Johnny gets me.
I don't think he's a big ick, but sure.
So they're basically fighting all across like Oleandros, one of the 3 systems. And this is where they kind of think, well, we need to really defend this. But the Iron Warriors had set up so many sort of beachheads that even the Imperial forces were struggling to push them back entirely. And they just keep fighting and fighting and fighting for just days. The whole war effort just keeps going and going. There's a slaughter on both sides to the point where Kravek Morne and Thulia Ghuld eventually get into a 1v1 scrap, and he basically bonks her so hard that she needs to be retreated from the battlefield for repairs.
Holy.
And like her whole Skitarii enclave basically dies to make sure that she can escape. Of course, Kravek Morne loses some of his own Terminator forces, but she's got this arrogantness to her that she can handle him, and he's just like, I don't care what you think, and just cracks her upside of the head with his hammer. Funnily enough, it's called The Last Argument after all.
Yeah, there's no arguing with that.
So yeah, Hive cities, I mean to say, have been cracked open. Various natural institutions have been turned into Iron Warrior beachheads. The Iron Hands and the Admech were not particularly careful about how they were waging war in terms of like the human populations. They're like, we just got to fight them, you know? However it works. There's a fun extract where Morne leads the assault in person at the head of a truly immense army. Chaos warships provide low orbital cover. Helldrakes and Hellblades darken the snowy skies. The ground forces had a scale truly terrifying, with almost the full remaining strength of the 17th Grand Company led dozens of Traitor Guard regiments, super heavy war engines, phalanxes of Chaos Knights and Demon engines, train after train of Dark Mechanicum artillery, engines of the Legio Mortis, Furians, and Voltorum to battle.
Damn, eh? They went full on.
Yeah. Archmagos Gould meets the threat with a horde of her own, cogitating an opportunity to decisively break their strength. She musters all of her forces at a fortified plateau. As the heretical host drives closer, Imperial macro artillery atop the southern plateaus let fly with draconic roar. Shells the size of land raiders whip through the snow-laden skies and slam down amidst the Iron Warriors' lines, vaporizing soldiery, collapsing subterranean tunnels. Void shields of Chaos Titans flicker and implode. Gould starts to bring in things like Archaeoceptors, which helicopters essentially, to just do bombing runs. Iron Hands even have aircraft that are just flying around dogfighting Helldrakes. Oh man, it's immense. Macroclades of Skitarii hopping out of their transports with Iron Striders looming over them as they just go mob into mob against cultists, and it's so large of a war. And there's pages of what I just said was pretty much paraphrasing, but there's pages of this stuff with the snow's turning red, knights of the various houses going against their cousins of House Nor, Commentus, and Chimera in devastating mass charges and duels with knights going into reactor death. Demon engines are just going and scuttling across the battlefields. It's immense. And realistically, the only thing that split up Ghuld and Kravek Morne's fight was that one of the Titans was about to combust, and it sure does, to the point where a lot of Kravek Morne's like armored column just disintegrates in the reactor core explosion, and like a half-mile wide crater is barely avoided as Kravek Morne's transport's going up in a flame. It's
Jesus.
It's so fucking much, to the point where, you know, even obliterators are being teleported into the middle of the foe, and they're using like all of their guns at the same time against their various foes. They're doing the like lightsaber duels where the biggest named weapons are going clish clash, doing reverberations across the battlefield. Oh man, it's quite a lot. But the reactor meltdown of the Titan is pretty much like the final note, because it forces all of the various commanders to flee from the battlefield. But then he never actually gets to Agripinaa.
Aww.
Because he gets caught out at Oleandros, which is what the Imperials thought was one of the 3 fields of war that cannot fall the most. Like, if anyone is to be kept, it's that one. But it's also the one that Kravek Morne's like, this is the one that needs to fall the most. And then what I just described to you happens.
Jesus. Titan death is a real problem.
Yeah, I paraphrased about 30 to 40 pages, but the Black Legion ambush, the grinding siege against the Neo-Cadian stronghold, and then the like 1v1 macro-sized apocalypse, which is probably why they put it here, armies on Oleandros. Yeah. What you think, John?
Pretty cool conflict. It's pretty neat stuff going on. It's a good start to the Iron Warriors doing their thing.
It really is. At the very end of this, Perturabo receives information about how each of these conflicts is going.
Oh, yeah?
It's logged at the back of this book for us to actually read.
Are we getting a famous Perturabo meltdown?
Let's see. It says that because the Iron Warriors are so efficient and orderly, they constantly send him back information that he discerns. And at this sort of stage, he's not too fussed because they're all kind of winning, except, you know, he wishes that they were like, yeah, we're done. But we don't really get his actual, like, reflection per se. We get the... we get the report on the Tauros system siege from Warsmith Bucker. Reporting siege of Tauros system ongoing. Estimated conquest stands at 76% completion. Taurus Quartum is a secured planet. Surface fortifications repurposing. All remaining locals undergoing recruitment or ritual sacrifice. Taurus Septerus is a loyalist resistance of considerable nature, with Knights of House Hawkshroud leading the fight. Tauros Tertian. Orbital control stands at estimate 90%. Besiegement of the Gauntlet Fortress, estimated 80%. Outer defense lines taken. Surviving defenders pinned within innermost structures. Victory estimated within 15 days. Besiegement of Grey Fathom Fortress, estimated 28% completion. Unexpected levels of resistance from defenders attributed to presence of as of yet unidentified Alpha class enemy elites. Situation deteriorating. Urgent reinforcement requested. Besiegement, Tower of Detestation. Progress estimated 40%. Advanced steady but satisfactory. Repeated counterattacks by the Sons of Dawn, of which they are now experiencing heavy casualties on their side. Enemy morale is remaining unbroken due to presence of Cadian High Command. Kill teams deployed to effect assassination. Warpsmiths making ready to deploy the Lamentation of Blades, which I don't even know what that means. The planned assault on all fronts to coincide with its release. Victory estimated within 65 days local standard. So within 3 months, it's estimated that the whole planet will be gone. How wild. And then Warsmith Descartes over at Cadia basically says, job done. Limited resistance from Black Legionaries. The vermin will not endure for long. Warbands dispatched to outlying planets remain relatively complete. There's a noteworthy presence of battle sisters, which offer supernatural resistance to our empiric assaults.
Excuse me? The racists are here?
The battle sisters are across Cadia, offering a supernatural resistance to warp stuff.
Nice. We got some nulls showing up, do we?
Apparently, Black Legion warships have been confirmed to break into Outer System Void, yet the Iron Warriors keep blowing them up. And they have begun to create the first keystone, which is the Noctilith Menhir doorway thingy.
Yep.
But apparently it's quite difficult. Apparently it's really hard to make.
I mean, they're doing shit that's never been done, so of course it's hard to do.
Yeah, and then we get the report from Warsmith Morne reporting significant loyalist counter-offensive that has occurred within an unexpected time frame. Imperial forces present in strength approximately 250% of estimated resistance. Foe made first translation into system approximately 35% ahead of projected timeline, altering strategies accordingly. Conflict on Oleandros Beta is currently at a deadlock. Masters of Possession and Sorcerers are preparing to work rites of conjuration. Situation updates to follow. Conflicts on Oleandros Gemini nearing conclusion. Estimate conquest 77% complete. Counterattacks hamstrung by atmospheric toxicity. Loyalists are more resistant than predicted. However, unable to match transhuman resilience of Iron Warriors. Temporian tech magi running captured macro factories at maximum capacity on warp source fuel to magnify toxicity and hasten conclusion of conflict. Estimate 3% toxicity increased to date. Enemy casualty rate increased accordingly.
Nice.
And then conflict on Oleandros Delphos, situation fluid. Loyalist Supreme Theater Commander severely wounded during offensive operations. Casualties high on both sides. Reinforcements moving into position. Situation updates to follow. So they're doing well.
Yeah, there's been some
Unexpected.
a little bit of resistance that they weren't ready for, but they managed. They're still looking up.
Still looking up. And except for the very last page, Johnny, that is the Eye of Terror, Reign of Iron lore primer.
Oh yeah, and why do you say except for the last page?
Because I wanted to see what you're thinking about what we've got, what you've enjoyed, what you want to see happen next, those kind of questions.
I'm actually pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
It seems like a pretty fun time for everyone involved that's not an Imperial.
Yeah, the Imperium getting messed up in these end of edition stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely been some losses on their side, which is good to see.
You happy with your Iron Warrior representation?
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't just kind of get pushed over, you know?
It's like they're here, but they kind of got squandered. No, they're really doing the squandering.
Yeah, they almost feel like their own faction at this point.
It might happen. It might just happen.
I know, right?
Although,
I'd be pretty excited.
Although, with that said, the last page indicates that we might be getting a bit more of an Imperial Fist thing coming up soon.
Yeah, because heaven forbid.
You want to know how the last page is?
Yes.
So there are 3 perspectives on the last page.
3?
Yeah. The first one focuses on Eldrad Ulthran.
Oh no.
He wakes up from his little meditation. Basically, his meditation ritual pieces have scattered themselves across the room. Runes are fizzling. He rises to his feet, rubs his forehead, I guess, and basically reconciles the fact that he has Farseeing, all of which the Master of Medjugorje has set into motion, and believes that it cannot be allowed to continue, to the point where he's considering sacrificing Ulthwé itself to stop him.
Oh no.
Oh no. Like, if they don't do it, no one can, is basically what he thinks.
So someone's gotta.
Someone's got to go. I mean, obviously, if they can get rid of them without all dying, great. But might not work out that way. The second is the Lord Castellan Creed. Basically, she's raising her banners to basically hold morale across the planet. She's asking for reinforcements. There are various forces all across the nearby systems that the Imperial Navy is picking up and bringing over to them. The Cadian Gate defense raises anew, cannot let it fall. And then the third thing is basically servitor data relay to a bunch of other officers. It's got the seal of Captain Lysander. The servitor is aboard the Phalanx, which is the Imperial Fist battle station. And the Phalanx has kind of become a command center against the High Fleet Leviathan war, except that the various forces aboard start to consider that the Iron Warriors may need to be stopped and they may need to abandon this theater of conflict, leaving other forces to deal with High Fleet Leviathan as they go and get all the Sons of Dawn and go toe-to-toe with the Iron Warriors.
We need to go get reinforcements.
Dude, there's so much Sons of Dawn. They could probably match them up. One for one, aside from the whole Primarch and Warp stuff.
I mean, we might get
The Black Templars are at least 20,000 people.
We might get a handless Dawn.
He's just got big blasters for hands. Can't wield a sword, so just...
But he has to be a Black Templars model because he doesn't have any Imperial fists left.
Damn, son. Wow. So that was story time. I felt like I definitely said there's not that much, and yeah, look at us, almost 2.5 hours recording.
Look at us go.
Happens every bloody time.
Yep, sure does.
Sure does. It was getting like to the point in the recording when I then got to the theaters and I'm like, oh man, it actually is a lot. From what I've seen, a lot of other channels that do stuff like this kind of go to the real meat and potatoes of the story, but not here on the TTPFM. We do it all, babe.
That's it. How else are we supposed to separate ourselves?
We're the casually in-depth boys.
Nice.
Nice. But I think we'll have to wrap up that episode there.
Oh, yeah. I think that's enough, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Probably. What? You wanted more?
Come back next week.
To see how possibly, somehow, Yarrick returned.
Yeah. Yarrick's always returning. What do you mean?
Somehow Yarrick returned. Or Zorgit.
But yeah, no.
But yeah, that will be it for today. We'll catch you all next time. Walk us home, Johnny man.
Oh, go follow all the stuff. You know, we have the things. Go do the button clicking. No, go join the Discord. Come say hi. Show us your models. If you haven't finished the book club, I'd get on it because that episode should be out in the very near future as well, and then we can start the next one.
Oi.
And go from there. I definitely finished the book a few weeks ago. So I am definitely ready to go.
Good stuff, Johnny. We'll get on to that soon.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Peace out. Thanks so much for listening.
See you next time.